Earlier in the week, we gave two chefs £500 each to spend on kitchen equipment. They've both taken it in very different directions. So Kush, starting with you, where have you spent your money and why?
I've gone for things that I have at home already. I've spent about 75% of the budget on a knife sharpener, a knife honing rod, a little knife case, so that knife lasts me forever. And then I've spent the rest of it on my favourite pan, it's pretty bulletproof, and then filled in the gaps with a knockoff microplane, a wooden spoon, peeler, a big cheap chopping board, and two things with holes in. And
percentage-wise, how much of the things that you cook or would like to cook can you do with that kit?
98%.
98%? That's so specific.
As long as you never want more than one hot thing at a time.
I'm very quick.
Can't wait to dig into the logic why a little bit later, but Ebbers, what's been your approach?
My approach is slightly different. Mine was almost a replica of what I did a year ago when I moved to London and I started from scratch in a kitchen. So I would say not a huge amount of this is for life, but I do think it's all very mid-range, strong quality that will survive until you can upgrade over time. So I spent about 25% of my money on knives and board, about 25% on one pan, about 20% on all the other pans, and that left me with whatever percentage is left for a whole bunch of bits. And I think if you're cooking from something like Sidekick, we use things like stick blenders and mini choppers quite a lot, microplanes. I think you can do nearly everything that we do on the channel just with this.
Interesting.
And I had £24 left over, which I bought a set of scales with that haven't yet arrived. So if I can also weigh out stuff, then I think I can do 100% of everything.
So the chefs are now going to cook up some dishes using their equipment and justifying their choices. Boys, let's get to it.
So, favourite knife, big board, lots of workspace, knife sharpener. I want to keep this as sharp as possible. It's already very, very sharp. So, I'll just show how it's used. Knife sharpener, it's got spinning blades in it, different grades. You go through, you'll hear this, sorry guys, but... So this is the coarse. This takes off metal and makes a burr, it's where the knife blade bends over, and then a stropping blade, which basically just polishes it off. And hone it just to finish the blade really gently on a steel.
What's the difference between what you've done in the machine and what you're doing with the...
So these two blades take metal off. This realigns and strops, so it takes off that fine burr right at the edge. This one doesn't take any metal off because this is steel on steel. This is harder. This just basically rubs it down and gives it that final polish. So it's honing and sharpening, two different things.
Chef knife masterclass.
And now you've got a knife that is, again, very sharp. And if you've got a really sharp knife, you've got more confidence, less chance of you cutting yourself because it won't bounce off vegetables, and need less pressure. Sharper knife, less pressure. So when you do cut yourself, it's a little nick, it's not going straight through.
Interesting. So what are you cooking up with your amazing knife?
I'm doing a leftover spaghetti and a little fennel and asparagus salad.
Sounds great.
The leftovers are things out of the fridge from filming for the last couple of months.
All in all, Kush,
Yeah.
like a huge chunk of your budget on a knife and keeping it sharp for life. That is no surprise, because the first time I ever met Kush...
I was naked. No,
was,
sorry.
was 4 weeks before our university course began, and there was like this bridging course to teach us the basics of cooking before we started at sort of degree level.
Teach Ben the basics. I already knew.
And day one, this guy rocks up with a plaster on about 4 fingers because he'd been sharpening his knives in the halls so that he could turn up with the razor-sharp knife.
So Ebbers, what are you cooking?
I'm going for a nice big one-pot kind of like almost cassoulet style thing with some sausage and some nice texture, some breadcrumbs, to showcase a few of the bits of kit and to basically represent the way I love to cook, which is like one big pot cook that you can also keep leftovers for fridge, freezer, or if you're feeding a crowd. And I would also say, probably unlike Kush, broadly speaking, I'm a bit more brand agnostic. what I've done is rather than spend a huge chunk on one knife, I've spent about 80 quid on one block of knives. But the point is, out of all of this, in all honesty, I only really use 4 of them. A chef's knife, serrated knife, a smaller paring knife, and kitchen scissors. The fact that it comes with 6 steak knives, a filleting knife, and an even bigger chef's knife, which with my small hands I feel less comfortable with, and a knife block, and a knife sharpener built into the block is kind of a bonus. But for me, I want those 4 knives, or 3 knives and scissors, and to buy them individually is actually more expensive than to buy everything else. So that's why I spent 80 quid on that and 40 quid on a really hefty chopping board. Always at home, put something under the chopping board. Now, Kush has gone for a slip mat, which I don't think he paid for. I wanted a slip mat, and I would recommend everyone have them. I have them at home, but if you haven't got the budget, a couple of bits of kitchen roll dampened does exactly the same job.
Shut up, Ebbers.
What a great way of interrupting this video with an announcement for our next Sorted Live. Washed Up.
So far, thousands of you have been working with our production team to come up with ideas for the weekend.
Here's what we know. We're on a beach and we're going to be taking on lots of tropical challenges. And now, for the first time, we are finding out what some of those ideas are. Of course, Pass It On Mystery Treasure Chest, where you'll be taking turns cooking with everyone having to pull something out of a treasure chest. It could be an ingredient, gadget, or a curveball. Nice.
A poker face challenge where people have voted for the 4 nasty and 1 nice.
It's bad enough as it is. Sorted Survivor, where you'll be cooking together and the community watching us will vote us off one by one.
Pass It On Desert Island Dishes, where you'll be taking turns cooking, and the finished dish must include elements from all of your favourite foods.
Ooh.
If the community feel like someone's not properly represented, you'll all fail.
And a tin can metal detector challenge, where you'll comb the beach for mystery tins to cook with.
This is just the first bunch of segments to be revealed. The rest of the segments are still being worked on. Thanks, guys. If you want to get your ideas heard, make sure you fill in the ideas survey in the description box below.
And if you want to be washed up with us, then join us on the weekend of the 29th and 30th of June. Tickets are available now.
They're available now. I thought I'd echo it.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Make it sound...
Emphasise.
Yeah, reverb.
Having demonstrated all of my chopping, this is all going to go into the pan. And I've actually, if I'm honest, I've demonstrated this wrong. Because I bought this board for a reason and then used it wrong.
It should be on the other side without the
Well, I
divots.
do legitimately like a board option
With a rim.
with the rim, because if you are carving, it will catch juices.
Yeah.
But I actually find it really irritating when you're chopping up small things because it gets caught. So I actually would normally have used that way round for chopping, and then that way round for serving. So charcuterie boards, cheese boards, carving boards. I use boards to serve a lot of food on, and I quite like having that little lip around the outside.
So let's talk pans. Kush,
Yes.
your favourite pan.
My favourite pan, my one pan, the one pan to rule them all.
What's it called?
It's a Spring, which is the brand, Brigade, which is the model level premium.
Okay, but what type of pan is it? Is it
It's
is it a saute pan?
It's a saute pan or a sauteuse.
Non-stick.
Saute meaning to toss. It is not non-stick, it is stainless steel. But I love the deep sides. It's very heavy. You can toss in it, you can fry in it. So cheaper pans have a base that is bonded to the pan, 2 separate pieces. Over time, that'll delaminate and come apart. This is fully fused, fully sealed, all the layers in
One piece of metal, like an amazing guitar.
Yeah. I have one of these at home. I use one on yachts. I've used one in kitchens. It lasts forever. It's expensive.
How much was it?
£120.
If you haven't yet listened to Kush's podcast episode, it makes a lot of sense of what he's bought.
Massively. One of the most interesting conversations I've ever had with you.
Glass of white, Mike?
Yes, please.
Glass of white, Ben?
Can I have 1.5?
Glasses of white?
I'll have half in a glass to drink and 1 in my pan.
Ebbers, talk me through your pans.
So I've gone for a heavy cast iron pan that is huge.
Like a crock pot,
like
Dutch
a crock
oven
pot,
style.
like a Le Creuset, Dutch oven, that kind of thing. The reason being, I like the fact that you can do long, slow braises in it, and it has a really good sort of conducting heat kind of vibe to it. You can also use it to bake bread, like sourdough in it, and you've kind of got that preheated option. And it's a large volume, which I like for doing for stews, casseroles, chilies, curries, tagines, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of bulk cooking. In addition to that, I've gone for one of the hex-clad pans without a lid. Now, a lot of people, we reviewed this well over a year ago. And a lot of the comments say, now that you've had them for a year, what do you think? It is still the only sauce frying pan I use at home. And after a year, it is still, even the way it gets used and abused in this studio, not scratched, does exactly the same job. And if you use it the way that it's intended, not necessarily, as we discussed before, the way that other pans are intended, I think it's really good. I bought it without the lid because I have a lid. Buy things that match and cross over. So I have small pans as well for heating up small liquids, small individual portions, and I bought 2 of them. So they've got differing sizes for pasta, individual portions of risotto. Yes, you can do it in this, but it's such a large volume that often I'm doing small things as well. And rather than buy a colander, I bought these ones because they have the lid that has the draining thing. So you can also pour from these pans, but you can also drain.
And how much were they?
The other 3 collectively were 90.
Okay.
So I've spent a large percentage of my money on pans, but I have got 4 of them. Oh, I also bought 3 baking trays because, especially for Sidekick, we do an awful lot of tray bakes. 3 different sizes, pretty durable. And for this recipe, I'm whacking some sausages in a very hot oven.
I think I've made a mistake.
Oh, cooking-wise or equipment-wise?
Cooking-wise. So I wanted to show you, as part of this, how I like to make little stocks and sauces using offcuts, trim, lobster heads. And I bought the colander to strain it all.
You haven't got a bowl?
I haven't got a bowl. So I'm going to use my serving bowl, I think.
Great.
We deliberately left crockery, cutlery, glassware out of the budget. But it is quite rare that you start from scratch and have to spend pretty much on the nail the budget.
So, Microplane, we say the word a lot, is a brand.
Ebbers has got
It's
one.
a great choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn something today.
Yeah. So you can see they're pretty much identical. So Microplane, when they first came out, a US company, they put a patent on the technology, the blades, the microplanes, the very fine little grating edges. 95% sure that that's lapsed now, and every other brand is making them out of the same kind of products. Probably not the same quality steel, but still really sharp. Still easy to hold. This one was £6 from an online seller.
This one was 2.5 times that at 15.
Which is even a bargain, because they're normally £26, so it must have gone on sale. Microplane, a bit of orange onto the board. So I'm going to use the orange juice and the zest to season my stock and make the dressing for the asparagus, fennel and tomato salad to go on the side.
So one thing that I spent some money on, not a huge amount, just £30. The small mini chopper, we use it quite a lot for making curry paste, even for crushing ice. It is also a stick blender, which we use a huge amount for soups, for purees, for making pull-through mayonnaises, and I think that's really, really useful for so many things. So you get that for your pull-through liquidizer thing, which also doubles up as a measuring jug, and they come with lids. So even if you make something in it, you can then store it in there as well. Exactly the same as this. Once you're finished, it comes with a lid, so you can store it on top. I think for stick blender and mini chopper with lids for 30 quid is really good. It's not the best one on the market, it's not the most powerful, but it is damn good for that price.
Wooden spoon.
Wooden spoon. Maybe it's just a chefy thing. Kush got a wooden spoon, I actually got 3. I think cooking is a very tactile thing, and just for me, the feeling of wood is just always gonna be better. And it's a nostalgic thing. For years, you'll use a wooden spoon. And I think a well-seasoned wooden spoon, i.e. one that looks like it's got a few stains from like...
Adds flavour as you
months
cook.
and years ago, it's just like it's got its own battle scars. I've got 3 of them. But I did also get some spatulas for cleaning out bowls and the like.
Kush, you've also gone wooden spoon.
I've gone wooden spoon.
But yours is designed slightly different.
Yeah, I've got a flat base, flat tip, and a little point.
Why?
Just it's a bit more versatile. It's got a little spoony bit, but it's also a scraper and a little corner
spatula
nooky bit, and a kind of a spatula. It's all in one jobby. But also, these cheap stainless steel spoons I cook with all the time. Back in my day in restaurants, you used to have 12 of these in your pocket as a rule. I've just strained off my sauce. I'm going to pass that into my serving bowl. so that I pre-warm my serving bowl, ready for putting the pasta in later. Always think ahead.
I wanted to demonstrate something as a comparison, and I couldn't find the bad version, because of all the pans we have in the studio, we haven't got one. I hate a straight-sided pan.
I see. So an angled.
Is angled because, as Chris said, to saute, you need to be able to do that. There are so many pans on the market, especially cheaper ones, that are straight-sided, and you cannot get that motion of saute. So always, I think, look for something with a beveled, rounded edge, as has Kush has got in the saute pan, as has this one. A straight-sided one like this, fine for a crock pot, but
not for a
you
frying
haven't
pan.
got that tossing action.
I'm going to halve some prawns. I've got all my prep on my large board. I've got some lovely little Spanish crisp breads that I'm going to rub with some mascarpone, bit of andouille, put them on the side of the salad, boil my pasta, toss it to my sauce, done.
Microplane, we've had the conversation. I do think a version of it, a fine grater, is important. But I'm adding some lemon zest to my cassoulet. It's got the parsley in it, but it just gives it a nice freshness to balance with the sausages. Mike, can I talk about my holes? So whilst...
Absolutely not!
So I've got a steamer, a sieve, a slotted spoon, and a colander, all within my equipment. Have a sieve. I would drain pasta and small portions of stuff in a sieve as well, but then you can also use it to sift. A slotted spoon, you can get a spoon one, but actually a slightly flatter edge. You can do so many things with this.
It's bigger.
Lowering stuff into water and frying, if you're lowering in eggs so they don't crack. And personally, a bamboo steamer. I use this a lot at home. I make sure it's one that sits over a pan I have, but I use this for steaming pre-made dumplings once a fortnight at least at home. It's like one of those really cheap meals, and I love it.
Question for both of you. Is there anything the other chef has purchased that you've seen and thought, that's really good, I missed a trick?
I don't need a bottle of wine opener because I screw top.
Quality wine often has a screw top, especially New World wine. So a waiter's friend to get into bottles of beer and bottles of wine. And it's a ridiculous purchase, but I use it actually quite a lot.
An aerator.
An aerator, because...
Do they even make a difference,
Yes.
really? They
yes,
do?
Yes. For just £3, you can add £10 worth of value to a bottle of wine if you haven't got the time to aerate it. Ironically, I'm going to open a Fleury here, which doesn't really need aerating, but I wanted a lighter red with my dish.
Some wonderful smells, chefs.
Yeah. So Mike, I've boiled my pasta in the same pan, turn the heat off. I'm now going to double strain
What a day.
my sauce to get any form of shell or bone out. Hence why I brought the sieve.
Job done.
Right, I'm going to plate my pasta up now. Quite rustic, I'll say.
What a video.
I've learned.
That is the two most expensive meals. There's £1,000 right there.
It better taste like a grand's worth of cooking. Chefs, it has been a pleasure. Thanks. Cheers.
I think, though, both sides of the table represent the approaches we've taken. Like the finesse and the knife skills and the concentration on spend on knife and board versus the more humble home cook version. I feel like they replicate what we've spent. Let's see how they taste. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my word, the orange in that,
Doesn't taste simple.
which was a curveball, but absolutely delicious.
Yeah, orange took it to the south of France, like Provence, bouillabaisse, they'd use a lot of orange in it, so.
It's so depressing eating both of your cooking.
Like, all you need is good knife technique.
Yeah.
And great ingredients.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Really simple. And then all the spare ingredients went on some little olive oil flatbread.
These plates of food scream early summer.
Yes.
Asparagus season, first of the tomatoes coming in.
Yeah. Last of the blood oranges, I didn't even know we had.
Beautiful.
You've earned that, Dad.
Thanks.
Right, Ebbers. Let's eat your sauce.
Kind of more French style cassoulet.
The fennel's a nice little touch.
It's delicious. It's so silky. They're great.
You seem surprised, Mike.
No, I'm not surprised. It's just amazing what you can do with a little bit of ability in cooking things properly.
And I do think, hopefully, there's been lots to learn because you've kind of got that divide of invest in professional and jack of all trades, you'll bumble through and get it done, which I think is both of our styles and represents either way that you can spend your money at home.
Let us know your thoughts. Do you think the chefs missed anything? Do you use any equipment in your kitchen that you think is absolutely vital? Let everyone know down in the comments and give us a like if you'd like us to see, well, what do we do? Double the budget?
No.
We either double.
Lower the budget?
It doesn't get any better.
No, I think we go £1,000 or £10.
Well, comment below.